So the next session that I went to was called "How Tech Companies Can Renew Capitalism," and I was very intrigued by this, and I thought immediately, okay, this is going to be right up the free market alley. And then I get there and I realize, oh, it's Change.org that's hosting it, and it was not a panel; it was just Ben Rattray, the founder of Change.org, and so going in, I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is going to be kind of the opposite of what I think it is. And I was pleasantly surprised. He did start it with a Milton Friedman quote that said says the greatest social good a company can do is increase profits. That's and that's a paraphrase. I don't think that's quite spot on, but that's the general gist. Yeah. And he proceeded to deconstruct that, and he's talking about how the whole point of his session was companies have evolved beyond that statement. He emphasized how that statement was made in the 70s, and how now that we're well into the 2000s, that companies can no longer be about just profits. They need to be about creating social change. And it was very fascinating to kind of hear him explain what that means, because you see a lot of companies now, especially tech companies, trying to champion social causes, right? And whether they're social causes you agree with or not, I mean, that's, I mean, there is that, and of course, there are companies that you want to purchase products from that all of a sudden champion a certain social cause, and you have to distance yourself from it because you don't agree with it, and so that does make the situation kind of sticky at times.
Yeah.
But he even started Change.org as a nonprofit and found out that it wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to be able to accomplish its goal of reaching, say 1 billion people with the ability to have consumer advocacy by being a nonprofit. They just couldn't get the resources, and so he changed it into a for-profit corporation.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then that's when it really started to take off, and so Change.org does make profits, but it also gives people the ability to advocate for change in their communities. And so what was really cool is he was very much about getting companies to realize the benefit of two things. One, empowering their consumers, and he gave some really great examples of that. I mean, Change.org is obviously he gave examples of people using that platform. That's his company. He wants to talk about it.
Right.
But just the idea that this one lady was able to get Bank of America to revoke this $5 a month credit card fee that they had imposed by getting 300,000 signatures online, and the same thing for Verizon. There was a $2 per month bill pay fee that their customers had to pay online just to pay a bill to pay something that they already owed to the company.
Right.
And convenience fee of sorts. And so he gave example after example after example, actually numerous ones, about people that saw something that they did not like within a company that they were a part of, and got people to push back. And then he took it another step forward and talked about empowered employees, and how not only were consumers pushing back against companies and saying, this is not acceptable, but there were employees within the companies that got involved on a certain level too. One great example of that would be Jamba Juice, and for a long time they used styrofoam cups, and there was a contingent of employees within that company that were pushing the company from within to go to 100% compostable. But it wasn't until a petition launched and got to, I think it was like 100,000 people behind it, that Jamba Juice started to pay attention, and then, because they had an inward contingent of employees that were already pushing for it, they were able to roll out a change in like 5 months. So
they already had the plan in place.
Well, yeah, so it was just this unique combination of inward and outward pressure on the company that got them to change. And so, so his idea is that companies need to see the benefit of advocating for social change. And just wanting, whether it's a better society better communities, better environment, whatever causes they see in the world. He thinks it's inevitable that it's going to happen, that companies are just moving that in that direction, like that is the business of the future.
Yeah.
And that companies can either shift towards it or fail. And he says that the wrong idea right now is that businesses are doing it, and I want to read this because it's a quote, and I want to make sure I get it right. He said that the wrong idea is for companies to respect their employees and consumers as long as people are watching.
Right.
And that's kind of what it is right now, where in the case of Bank of America, well, they're going to impose this $5 fee until people raise a stink, right? He wants them to see the inherent benefit
of being good to begin with.
Of being good to investing in your consumers, investing in your employees. He spent a long time talking about, giving employees, good wages, and how tech companies are kind of known for providing a lot of good incentives, whether that's benefits or unlimited vacation or parental leave or good wages and stuff like that. Like, tech companies do that already, and they have some of the most intelligent, capable employees, right? And so
they get those employees because of their good benefits.
Exactly.
Good wages.
And there's pushback now between, say, the founder of the tech company and some of their investors, because the investors are like, well, why are you burning through all this cash on your employees, right? And so the case has to be made. But what I found really fascinating about this was Ben said that he didn't want to see government have to regulate it. He wants businesses to come to this decision.
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing, because there's a lot of people that would have this idea that would just say, government mandate, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
And he actually shamed a lot of companies that are calling for it that haven't implemented it on their own in the first place. Like, he called them out from the stage. Like, if you're advocating for a living wage through government, why are you not already giving it to your employees? And it sounded like
you don't have to have government involved in order to
exactly.
Do these
you can
things.
be a good social. You can be a good actor on your own.
Right.
And
then everybody else will be a model for other people to implement.
Exactly. But it was just so refreshing to see people not immediately turn to government. Now, he did also, someone obviously during Q&A came up and asked, well, how are, there are going to be bad actors. What do you do for that? And he's like, well, ideally, again, businesses would see, and businesses can put pressure on each other, and consumers will put pressure on businesses now. In this information age, it's so much easier to implement that kind of stuff.
You can publicly shame.
You can publicly shame. Like I said,
applaud.
The wrong idea is respecting employees and consumers because people are watching. There's an ideal to subscribe to. But he also did say, at some point there will have to be regulation, because there will be bad actors and people that abuse the system. But just again, it is fascinating to see the idea, right?
Yeah.
And so I think for the nonprofits that we work with, just keeping an eye on the fact that, we are for social change, right? That our nonprofits that we work with have a mission that they're trying to accomplish, and they're trying to make the world a better place. And so seeing that more businesses are likely going to be heading in this direction and looking for opportunities to collaborate together and to say, here are our solutions. Can you help make this possible, whether that's financially supporting it or making it part of your business initiative, or those opportunities are going to be out there. You're already seeing it a lot in Silicon Valley and in the tech industry. And so that's one place to look, but you're also going to see it in a lot of other businesses.
Yeah, well, that sounds really interesting.
Oh, it was fascinating.
Did people in the Q&A, did they seem pretty receptive to that message of capitalism is good? I
think so, yeah. Well, because, again, as I was describing earlier, you're kind of combining the two ideas together, right? Like, Ben Rattray's ideal world sees the uniting of the mission of profit and the mission of social change, in the same breath. And so, which might be kind of a hard pill to swallow right now, but the way he described it, it made it seem like it can be possible. There are some businesses, he said that at the very beginning, if a business goes into, or starts up and has social change as a part of its mission from the get-go, then it can be deeply ingrained in its DNA. There's a lot of businesses out there that have been in business for years. They won't be able to make the transition.
Right.
And his solution.
That will be a death nail for those?
I don't know. I mean, I think it really depends on the business. He did comment that some may not be able to make the jump. Some may be able to make the jump, but then it won't be part of their DNA. It won't necessarily be, we make this product that people buy, There goes the poster. I knew that was going to happen.
I knew it would happen.
But it was there for a little while. So, and then other ones will say, well, our mission for social good is radically divergent from the product that we sell.